Hello and welcome to another episode of the Agile Recruiter podcast. It's a platform where I share my insights as a recruiter while also learning from other recruiters, their achievements, and the challenges that they face within the industry. In this episode of the podcast, we're going to do the recruitment roundup for the month of March. And for those of you who don't know, it's something new that I've started where I share market insights on a monthly basis. Basically, anything interesting that I come across that I feel like I could share with the rest of the world. So I've got my notes ready. Let's jump into it. The first piece of information that I came across that I found really interesting was related to the increasing popularity of ChatGPT or OpenAI. And the article was posted by Serena Durham, and the headline reads Elon Musk and tech leaders urge pause in AI boom, citing profound risks. And what it basically says is that all these tech experts and leaders within this space are urging developing AI labs to pause all their work for at least 6 months so they can introduce more safeguards, they could have more understanding of structures and whatnot. And where this is coming from is that OpenAI's own research has shown that there are risks that come along with these type of AI skills. For instance, the AI could possibly and does quote unreliable sources. So AI experts are actually spooked by where all of this might be heading. The companies are actually rushing out products without understanding, like without introducing safeguards and without understanding implications that it might have. So it will definitely be an interesting place to watch. So how it would turn out to be. The next pieces of information that I had were more in regards to the shift in work from home. So as we know that work from home or remote working actually became common practice during the pandemic, it changed the way that people looked at work. It changed the people how they worked. Um, and as soon as the pandemic was over or things got better, people did not want to lose that flexibility. There were a lot of organizations that were catering to that. However, there were some organizations that wanted their employees to come back on site, and some introduced a hybrid working model. So there's this piece of news that's coming out of the UK. It was an article posted on hrnews.co.uk where it says HR advisors reveal huge 217% spike in disciplinaries as work from home ends. And it's basically a specialist employment firm which reports that there's been a massive spike in disciplinaries. Interestingly, there has also been a 114% spike in calls about conduct and capabilities and a 48% increase in inquiries from bosses in regards to employee absences and staff absences. So these challenges come because a lot of people in the workplace they don't want to come back to work. They want to work remotely, or they want to have a good model that they're able to accommodate their day-to-day lives. And what this results into is business and HR find themselves playing a tug of war with employees. Um, you don't have to be in the office just for the sake of it. Like if you feel like your employees are productive, they're efficient, everything's getting done, yes, you can let them in once a fortnight or once a week. But if you're telling them to be in the office 5 days a week, I feel like that's an idea that's completely redundant. Um, Carrying on that idea, there was also an article in the Sydney Morning Herald by Erin O'Dea, which great headline said, "Let me work from home or I won't work for you. It's that simple." And it really is, because when you're working from home, the pros really outweigh the cons, to be honest. Like you're saving so much time and you're saving so much money. And the example that she gave was that she was able to spend a lot of time with her family, which again, like you're replaceable at work, but you're not replaceable at home. So you really have to prioritize family. So, like I said, you're saving so much time in commute, you're saving so much time in the morning money on that morning coffee, lunch, and whatnot. So the pros clearly outweigh the cons. Um, the article actually was ended by what I've been saying. The idea that we need to turn up to an office simply for the sake of it has become redundant, and it really has. In other news, as we all know, Australia at the moment is going, as compared as are all places, going through a massive labor shortage. So Australia will soon experience the biggest 2 year population surge in history, with 650,000 migrants to arrive in the financial year. So not all of these are going to be skilled labor. It's going to be divided. It's mainly because of reopening of borders. There's a backlog of visa applications, but also because of a demand of skilled workers. And it would really be interesting to see how this will introduce the shift in the market, because when there was a labor shortage and everyone was running after this tech talent, they were offering them ridiculous salaries, and not just tech. I believe like everywhere. But now that the cost of living is going high and inflation and whatnot, and we see these layoffs happening, so it would be really interesting to see how an extra surge of workers in the market would change it. Um, there was a win in the news in terms of gender pay gap transparency in Australia. So last Thursday, the Workplace Gender Equality Amendment Bill passed. It brings mandatory pay gap reporting to Australia. So employers with 100 or more workers will be required by law to publish the size of gender pay gap at their organization. And transparency is the name of the game. So it's a massive win. In other news, CBA significantly expands technology graduate intake, just showing because if I'm not wrong, just last month I mentioned how they've opened up a new tech hub. So CBA, Commonwealth Bank, is just investing so much in tech. So they hired 219 new grads in 2023, which was a 284% increase as compared to the 2020 intake. The main three areas that they're focusing was cybersecurity, data science, and engineering. They've even got applications open for the 2024 program. So it's an organization that's just really committed and invested within that tech space. Really good to see. And now coming to news that we didn't hackers and whatnot. So major financial lender hacked Latitude Financial. So 320,000 customer IDs are feared to be stolen. Latitude, if you don't know, provides consumer financial services to JB Hi-Fi, Apple, and Harvey Norman. Crown Casino also reported that they had been hit with ransomware claims. They're looking into the matter. They're saying that they're not they're saying that the person might be just bluffing. From the initial search, nothing seems to be out of place. So with this piece of news and these hacks still going on from Medicare to Optus to Harvey Norman and whatnot, it just, in my opinion, it just puts a light on cybersecurity in that space. And there's such a shortage within that space. And I'm currently trying to recruit in that space. And let me tell you, one of the hardest areas at the moment. The salaries, if you want to find someone who's a leader, who's good, ticks all the boxes, unicorns and whatnot, on crazy amounts of salaries, and organizations are not willing to lose these people. Just as an example, we made an offer to someone, their organization counter offered, we countered their counter offer, they countered our counter offer, and that's when we were like, no. So with this rise in spotlight on cybersecurity and whatnot, it'd be interesting to see how the pay increases, the investment that goes into it, the team size that every organization has and whatnot. Finishing off with not the best news. Layoffs have been in the news all over again. Amazon was in the news because they laid off about 9,000 people. I believe there's just too many to keep track of at the moment. What's really important is, as I always say, you're replaceable at work, but you're never replaceable at home. So always prioritize your self-care. If you need help or if you just want to talk to someone, always reach out. Don't suffer in silence. The community on LinkedIn, everyone's just reaching out, helping each other. So there is a lot of support out there. So if you're struggling or if you're unsure, if you just want to have a conversation, please reach out to your connections or within that close circle that you have, and take care of yourself. That's all that I had for the Recruitment Roundup of March. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.